we've been talking about the power, the danger of when the power of the state, the power to walk into your home with a gun, the power to imprison you, is handed over to private for-profit corporations, in this case, Booz Allen Hamilton and the Carlyle Group that owns them, apparently. But what about that power itself? I mean, just in its raw form, prison. Richard Viguerie, Richard A. Viguerie is with us. He's the chairman of ConservativeHQ.com, the author of the book Conservatives Betrayed, How George W. Bush and Other Big Government Republicans Hijacked the Conservative Cause. And Richard, welcome back to the program.
Good to be with you again, Tom.
It's been some years, it seems. Yes. You and a group of friends of yours are working on, in fact, you wrote a piece called A Conservative Case for Prison Reform. Lay this out for us.
Well, it's an issue that, Tom, I've been concerned about for a long time, and I started, quite frankly, in the mid-1970s, where I wrote about it and took a very strong position in opposition to the death penalty. And when some national liberals learned about it, they reached out to me, and we've, I guess for the last 10 years or so, some high-profile liberals and conservatives have been meeting and discussing how we can advance this cause of doing away with the death penalty. And I've always kind of joined the two together, reform of the criminal justice system, because as horrendous as it is, particularly when mistakes are made, it still affects a relatively small number of people. But the millions and millions of people that are abused by this failed government program, criminal justice system at the federal, state, local level.
And in some populations, in the African American population, for example, in the United States, it affects a significant percentage of the population.
Exactly, and it doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work for the victims. It doesn't work for innocent people who could become victims of crime. It doesn't work for the taxpayers. It doesn't work for the prisoners themselves. And I know a number of people in prison or who have been in prison, and I'm regularly in touch with them. And fortunately, they've come out and walked a straight line. But we all know the recidivism rate is just out of control, and it's just not working.
Yeah. So what are your suggestions?
Well, what I say to my conservative friends, and I've gotten this op-ed piece that you're referring to, Tom, appeared in the New York Times on Monday, and I've gotten an enormous response from high-profile liberals and conservatives. My friend of 40 years, Morris D., Southern Poverty Law Center, called me Monday and was very excited about the article. And he just happened to have on the editorial page that same day in New York Times an editorial about a lawsuit that they had won forcing changes in the Mississippi criminal justice system. It's an issue that for conservatives we have to get out front and lead. Unfortunately, liberals, this is not a natural issue for them to lead on. Politically, most of them probably are very afraid of being labeled by conservatives, soft on criminals, as they have in the past. And so it's just like only the anti-communist Nixon could go to China. I think conservatives, are the ones that have to lead on this, and will be quickly joined by a lot of liberals, I think. But
in that regard, and you point this out, and in fact you say these three principles: public safety, compassion, and controlling government spending are at the core of conservative philosophy. We could debate the compassion part, although actually I don't even think that we should debate that. I don't disagree with you on those things.
No, I think we're all.
Here's the big problem that I'm wondering how you're going to deal with. You correctly point out, we have 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's prisoners. We have more prisoners both on a per capita and actual basis than any other country in the world, and there's some pretty nasty countries out there. And we're not the biggest country. We're 300 million people. India's got 1 billion. China's got over 1 billion. And that prison is costing a fortune. $9 billion and $50 billion a year now, up from $9 billion in '85. You pointed out, second fastest growing area of state budgets.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do we do this in the face of privatized prisons that have, in the face of prison having become an industry as a consequence in large part of what was presented as conservative philosophy by the Reagan administration and others associated with it, that we should privatize the government function of prisons, and now you have a prison industry that is lobbying for longer sentences, 3 strikes you're out laws, more severe punishments. You have a private prison industry that is lobbying not to end Nixon's drug war. Now, whether you are in favor of Nixon's drug war or not, what the hell is the prison industry doing, lobbying about the drug war? How do you do? It seems to me like this is an industry that should not exist, and I'm just curious your take on the privatization of prisons and how you think you can be successful in reforming our prison system when you're up against multi-billion-dollar corporations.
Well, everything you said, is a problem, and I agree with it. The solution, I don't know, Tom, but I know that we're moving in the right direction. I am talking at different times to Senator Rand Paul, to former Senator Jim DeMint.
But Rand Paul wants to privatize all the prisons.
Well, that may be so, but he still is very concerned and shares the concerns, I think, pretty much that you and I talked about right now. George Will has written about it recently. There's a growing concern among, I guess, every conservative that I talk to at the national level. We've got to make changes here. And we can argue over whether prisons should be built by the government or, private industry. That's something we can...
Well, I'm not talking about build, I'm talking about own.
We all agree we need fewer prisons
and run.
Fewer prisoners.
But if... okay, we can agree on that. But I don't see how we're going to get there as long as there is a profit motive in having more prisoners.
Well, there's a profit motive in a lot of things that we can, say we need to, reduce the amount of expenditure in behalf of.
For example,
anything. I mean,
well, it seems like we're talking core government functions here.
Yeah, I understand, but this is exciting, Tom. Let's focus on the progress here. We've got the left and the right unanimously coming together and saying we've got a broken criminal justice system, and let's all come together and start talking about this.
I'm agreeing with you on all of that,
20 years ago.
Except for that one piece, because I think that one of the most broken parts of our criminal justice system, and one of the reasons why it has been deteriorating, is the privatization of prisons and the growth of the prison industry. 2 years ago, the fastest growing industry in the United States was the private prison business.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
That should not be. That should. I mean, it can't. It seems to me like Barry Goldwater, and I went door to door for Barry Goldwater in 1964. I was 13 years old, but I did it, with my dad. That Barry Goldwater would never in his wildest dreams say we should be handing off core government functions like policing and the consequence of policing, prisons and rehabilitation, to private corporations. That's not a conservative position. That's a corporatist position.
So that's fine. Let's sit down with the Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals, and begin to talk about this.
Okay.
It was inconceivable we could do this 5-10 years ago.
Okay.
We're at a point now. This is historic. Let's don't miss this opportunity. Everybody's on board. We in agreement. We need to make changes. Let's do it.
Yeah, but do you think we should have privatized prisons?
I don't know, Tom. I don't want to, say yay or nay here. I just don't think that's the core issue. I think, the fact that liberals have been afraid to lead on this issue, conservatives haven't led. Now we're all in agreement. We need to sit down and talk about it. There's so many low-hanging fruits out there.
Yeah.
37 states have on the books right now a law that a prison giving childbirth must be shackled. I mean, there's 100 examples like that we can agree on. Let's start there.
Okay. We will start there. Richard A. Viguerie, the website conservativehq.com, the author of Conservatives Betrayed. Thank you, Richard, for being with us again.
Pleasure, Tom.
Good talking. We'll be back.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Well, it was interesting. Nixon did go to China. Conservatives reforming prisons? Maybe.